Tired of spinning your wheels in the gym? You're not alone. So many lifters pour hours into their workouts, cranking out rep after rep, only to see little to no change in their muscle growth. Here's the truth most people don't tell you. It's not just about how much you're lifting or how many reps you're doing, it's about how you're doing them. Think about it. Are you really challenging your muscles in the most effective way, or are you just moving weights around? The brutal reality is that wasted reps won't get you the body you want. But there's good news. What if I told you there's a way to lift smart, turn those reps into powerful growth opportunities, and build muscle faster than ever before? No gimmicks, no fluff. Just practical strategies that force your muscles to adapt and grow. Whether it's learning how to isolate your chest during a barbell bench press or mastering time under tension for your lats during a pull down, this video is about unlocking the secret to rethinking every single set in your routine. And trust me, it's simpler than you think. Stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm about to show you how to transform your workouts. You'll learn how to stop wasting time, activate your effective reps, and finally create the conditions your muscles need to grow. Ready to see the gains you've been chasing? Let's do this. When it comes to building muscle, one of the first things to ask yourself is, what's your training goal? Strength or hypertrophy? Think about it like this. When training for strength, the focus is all about efficiency. You want multiple muscles to work together like a tight-knit team, maximizing how much weight you can move. Picture a barbell bench press. Your chest, triceps, and shoulders join forces, moving the bar with power and precision. The goal, to lift heavier and heavier over time. And trust me, there's something incredibly satisfying about stacking plates on the bar as your absolute strength skyrockets. Now, hypertrophy, that's a totally different ballgame. Forget about efficiency, because here, you need to embrace inefficiency to push your muscles into growth mode. The key is to isolate the target muscle and make every rep feel like a personal challenge. For example, instead of just pressing the bar up in a bench press, focus on really feeling the contraction in your chest. Slow it down, squeeze hard at the top, and let your pecs do the heavy lifting, not your shoulders or triceps. It's not about how much weight you're lifting, it's about how much stress you're putting on your target muscle. But here's the kicker. You don't need to choose one over the other. Strength and hypertrophy are like two sides of the same coin, and one will almost always complement the other. Boosting your strength unlocks the potential for lifting heavier in higher rep ranges, which in turn can drive muscle growth. And speaking of how to make the most out of your training, let's dive into what makes a movement truly efficient or inefficient. In the first place, efficiency and inefficiency in training aren't just fancy terms. They are the foundation of how you target either strength gains or muscle growth. When training for strength, efficiency is king. This means recruiting as many muscle groups as possible for synergy. Imagine a heavy barbell bench press, your chest, triceps, and shoulders all fired together in perfect unison. The goal is simple. Move the weight effectively with maximum power, not isolating one muscle or breaking down the movement unnecessarily. This approach gets the job done when your goal is sheer strength and power. On the flip side, if you're working toward hypertrophy, inefficiency becomes your secret weapon. Here's the deal. Instead of letting your body cheat by leaning on supporting muscles, you focus on making the target muscle work harder than ever before. For instance, during a lat pull down, you don't just yank the bar down. You concentrate on pulling with your lats, minimizing help from your biceps, and avoiding momentum entirely. This is where the process gets slower, more strategic, and let's be honest, way more challenging. But that's exactly how you force muscles to grow. By now, you might be wondering, how do I know which strategy to apply and when? That's where things get interesting. Efficiency and inefficiency aren't just about the exercise itself, but how you perform it. Let's take a practical example. A classic move many lifters swear by: the bench press. But before we dive into that, let's talk about how it can serve two very different goals depending on how it's executed. The barbell bench press is a prime example of how to train for strength with maximum efficiency. When your goal is to lift heavier weights, the secret lies in engaging as many muscle groups as possible. Your chest, triceps, and shoulders become a well-coordinated team, each playing its role to move the bar efficiently from start to finish. To get the most out of the movement, focus on keeping your form solid. Slight arch in the back, feet planted firmly on the ground, and driving the bar with speed through the effort. Think of your body as a machine designed to handle the load together, rather than isolating specific parts. Another key aspect of training for strength with the bench press is acceleration. The concept of power and strength go hand in hand. So pushing the bar with speed helps activate more muscle fibers and increases force production. This is why technique matters so much in effective lifting. Don't just move the weight, move it purposefully. As your form improves and your body adapts, you'll notice the weight getting easier to handle, allowing you to progressively load and keep smashing your training goals. So, what if your focus shifts from raw strength to hypertrophy? That's where the same barbell bench press takes on a new twist, one that's far less about efficiency and far more about isolating the chest. But to fully grasp this shift in technique, let's explore how a similar adjustment applies to another key exercise, the lat pull down. The lat pull down is another versatile exercise that can be tailored for strength or hypertrophy, depending on your execution. If you're training for strength, the key is focusing on efficiency. Grab the bar with an underhand grip, which allows your lats, biceps, and rhomboids to work together seamlessly. The goal isn't to isolate any particular muscle, but to move heavier weight with controlled form. Keep your chest lifted, pull the bar toward your upper chest, and focus on a smooth, powerful movement. Just like with the bench press, strength training with the lat pull down is all about harnessing multiple muscles and perfecting the movement for a stronger overall pull. Now, switch gears. If muscle growth or hypertrophy is your goal, it's time to think about inefficiency. First, trade in that underhand grip for an overhand grip to reduce bicep involvement and put the spotlight on your lats. Use lighter weights, slow down the pace, and focus on a full range of motion. Drive your elbows down, pause at the bottom for a solid contraction, and let the stretch at the top really challenge the muscle. This method not only shifts more of the tension to the lats, but it also adds a level of precision that maximizes each rep. The beauty of the lat pull down lies in its adaptability. Whether you're chasing raw power or aiming to carve bigger, more defined lats, you can make subtle tweaks to get exactly what you need. But this adjustment in execution brings up an important question. Are all reps created equal? Let's look deeper into the concept of effective reps and how they impact both strength and hypertrophy. Not all reps are created equal when it comes to muscle growth. In every set, the real magic happens during those final grueling reps when your muscles are on the brink of failure. These are the effective reps, the ones that push past comfort zones and create the mechanical tension your body needs to grow. Think about performing your 8 to 10 rep max. The first few reps might feel manageable. But as you approach the last ones, your muscles are screaming, the bar feels heavier, and you're grinding to keep your form. That's where the true growth happens. Those final moments of struggle. But here's the catch. You can't reap the rewards of effective reps without proper strategy. Rushing through the start of a set only to fatigue prematurely wastes precious energy. Instead, maintain a controlled pace, keep good form, and reserve your effort for those last reps where the intensity matters most. These aren't just repetitions. They're where your muscles are fully activated, recruiting more motor units and maximizing the stimulus for growth. Whether it's a heavy lat pull down or a barbell bench press, the principle remains the same. Embrace the burn, but don't lose your form. Now, you might be asking, what if I tweak my technique to make every rep count? That's where intensity techniques come into play. By slowing your reps, extending your time under tension, or altering the range of motion, you can ensure that even lighter weights hit that sweet spot of muscle failure. But how do these techniques stack up against actual heavy lifting? Let's dive into ways to increase intensity without relying solely on heavy weights. Building muscle doesn't always mean piling on heavy weights. In fact, some of the most effective strategies for hypertrophy come from intensity techniques that make every rep feel like a challenge. For starters, slow reps are an absolute game changer. By increasing your time under tension, you force your muscles to work harder throughout the entire movement. For instance, try a lat pull down, where you take a full 3 seconds to lower the bar and another 3 seconds to pull it back up. It sounds simple, but that controlled pace transforms a relatively light weight into a serious test of strength and endurance. Another great method, the 1.5 reps technique. Let's say you're doing a squat. Lower all the way down, come halfway back up, drop back into the squat, and then stand tall. That extra half rep shifts the focus, creating more cumulative tension and hitting your muscles from slightly different angles. It's like tricking your body into thinking there's more weight on the bar when in reality, you're just using smarter mechanics. These small, deliberate tweaks add layers of intensity that challenge your chest, quads, lats, or whatever muscle you're targeting in ways heavy lifting alone can't. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of range of motion. Maximizing that stretch at the bottom of a movement, like in a lat pull-down or holding a hard contraction, can amplify the challenge. These techniques might not have the ego appeal of throwing around massive weights, but they deliver where it counts: sustainable muscle growth and reduced risk of injury. But before you start ditching heavy weights altogether, let's break down why both heavy and light weights have their limitations, and what you need to know to use them effectively. While heavy weights undoubtedly have their place in strength training, they come with inherent limitations. For starters, relying too heavily on maximum loads often introduces momentum into the movement, robbing your muscles of the precise tension needed for true muscle growth. Imagine hoisting an overly heavy barbell bench press. Half the motion might be powered by your body's natural momentum instead of a controlled contraction in your chest. The result: less isolated tension and a greater risk of injury. Simply moving a loaded bar doesn't always translate to solid hypertrophy gains. On the other hand, using lighter weights can feel safer, but they often fail to provide the stimulus your muscles need to adapt. If the tension isn't enough to challenge you, you'll end up spinning your wheels, no matter how slow or precise your reps are. For example, performing a lat pull-down with a weight that's too light, even if you stretch fully and squeeze hard, won't push your lats into the necessary level of fatigue. Lighter weights can be effective, but only when paired with techniques like increased time under tension or repetition to failure. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. A balanced approach allows you to reap the benefits of both methods: heavy weights for building raw strength and lighter weights for amplifying intensity through controlled techniques. But how do you walk that fine line? It all comes down to understanding how different rep ranges, muscle activation strategies, and fatigue levels play into your overall training plan. And that leads us to why finding harmony between strength and hypertrophy is essential for long-term progress. Balancing strength and hypertrophy training isn't just smart, it's essential for maximizing your muscle growth and overall potential. Think of it this way: when you increase your strength, you're laying the groundwork to lift heavier within higher rep ranges. That extra power allows for more intense hypertrophy-focused workouts, meaning you can achieve better results in fewer sets. It's like building a stronger foundation for a house. It makes everything above it stronger too. Focusing only on hypertrophy without addressing strength may leave you plateauing sooner than you'd expect. On the flip side, consistently prioritizing hypertrophy ensures that your hard-earned strength translates into visible muscle growth. While strength training pushes your limits with lower reps, hypertrophy training focuses on cumulative tension, bringing balance to your overall workout routine. Picture a classic scenario. A lifter increases their bench press to an all-time max of 300 pounds in a low rep set, but it's their 8 to 10 rep max that stimulates chest growth. These approaches feed into one another, creating a feedback loop of gains. Finding the sweet spot between these training styles isn't just about numbers, it's about variety and long-term adaptation, exploring low rep ranges for power and strength, followed by strategically planned higher rep hypertrophy sets, keeps your muscles constantly guessing. The result? Steady progress, improved performance, and a balanced physique. But what does this balance look like in terms of intensity and reps? Let's break it down with a tangible comparison of high versus low weight strategies. When it comes to intensity, not all rep strategies are created equal. Comparing heavy weights to lighter weights helps paint a clear picture of how they impact muscle growth and strength gains. With heavy weights, like your 8 to 10 rep max, the intensity gradually ramps up through the set, hitting its highest point in those final grueling reps. This strategy creates a more obvious buildup of effort, with those last 2 to 3 effective reps doing most of the heavy lifting in terms of stimulus and fatigue. Now, let's switch to lighter weights, paired with intensity techniques like slow reps or extended time under tension. Even though the loads are lower, the intentional inefficiency forces your muscles to work hard right from the start. Imagine a lat pull down where you emphasize a slow descent, pause for a strong contraction, and repeat with minimal rest. It creates a constant grinding effort from the first rep, matching or even exceeding the total cumulative tension caused by heavier weights. In this setup, the challenge lies not in the load itself, but in the intensity you create with technique. What's fascinating about this comparison is how the two approaches can complement each other. By alternating between heavyweight sets for strength and lighter weight methods for hypertrophy, you can maximize your results. The real takeaway: there's no singular best method. It's the combination of both that generates optimal muscle growth. But putting that knowledge into practice is just the beginning. There's one last piece of the puzzle: understanding how to apply these strategies consistently to hit your training goals. Let's bring it all home in a meaningful way. Combining strength and hypertrophy strategies is the ultimate key to unlocking consistent muscle growth and achieving your long-term training goals. A well-rounded approach ensures you're not only increasing your power with heavy weights, but also targeting those crucial effective reps through intensity techniques like slow reps and extended time under tension. The beauty of this strategy is how adaptable it is. You can mold your training to match your goals, your experience, and even your energy levels on any given day. That flexibility is what keeps progress steady, and let's be honest, keeps things exciting. Now, here's the challenge: consistency. Without committing to a plan and experimenting with both methods, you'll miss out on the synergy these techniques can create. One day, aim for a heavy barbell bench press, aiming to smash your 8 to 10 rep max. On another, focus on carving out your lats with a controlled lat pull down using lighter loads. Push yourself to stay engaged, explore different stimuli, and embrace the variety. And remember, fatigue isn't your enemy. It's a sign you're challenging your limits and forcing your body to adapt. Every rep, every tweak in technique, it all adds up to progress. So, what's stopping you from reaching the next level? You now have the roadmap. All that's left is stepping up, putting these strategies into action, and staying consistent. But hold up, don't go away just yet. If this approach resonates with you and you're ready for more actionable tips to supercharge your routine, let's talk about why this channel is your one-stop resource for crushing fitness goals. If this video gave you value, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Let's grow stronger together, one smart rep at a time. And don't forget, your next big leap in results starts now. RY.